Today's scriptural passage comes from John's Gospel. It's the 10th chapter. And in it is a wonderful story about faith. What has happened is they had gathered in Jerusalem because it was the celebration of what we refer to as Hanukkah, that celebration where the Jewish people had overthrown the Seleucids, and it brought Israel back to its glory. And they had gathered during this theme of Hanukkah, where the 8 candles remained lit, even though there was only 1 day of oil. And so that's the miracle of the oil for the Jewish people in the time of Hanukkah. And so they had gathered there, and the followers began to ask Christ during this time of celebration whether he was the Messiah, whether he's the expected one. And Christ looks at them and says, for crying out loud, I have told you and shown you time and time again, and yet you still don't believe. So what am I to do? I've told you that the Father has done all things and he will do all things. He will never let anyone come out of his hands, and nor will I. Because you see, the Father and I are one. And yet, you don't believe. So what is he to do? As I looked at that scriptural passage, sometimes I feel like I'm one of those believers who sometimes has difficulty with my faith. I think of Mark's Gospel, the 9th chapter, and the 27th verse, I believe it is, when the father of a young boy who had a seizure said to Christ, I believe, help me in my unbelief. You see, I look at that and I know that I still carry the burden of worry. I still carry the burden of anxiety. I still carry the burden of wondering what's going to do next and what's going to happen next. I concern myself with the world, and I should. I should worry about those who maybe have not yet embraced Christ. But I should not be so concerned about the everyday aspects of how am I going to feed my family? How am I going to accomplish this? Because every time I say, how am I going to do something? I eliminate the we. And that we includes God. And if I truly believe that everything that I do is with God, then I have to believe that God exists. And yet, faith cannot exist unless there was doubt. Now, listen to what I'm saying. Faith is the acceptance of what we have not seen because of we believe, even though we may not have seen. And that's the problem that the followers of Christ were having. They kept saying, I want to see, I want to see, I want to see. And Christ keeps saying, I showed you, I showed you, I showed you. Christ has shown me too. He's shown me in very persuasive ways this movement of my emotions, these movements towards doing that which is right, the movement towards seeking justice for those who have tasted the horrible bitterness of injustice. We are called to care for our brothers and our sisters, and this all comes from the movement, the gentle swaying of God's desires for us to help this world be a better place. I hope you noticed the cap that I have on my head. Yes, I am from Chicago. And yes, I'm from the south side of Chicago, like our new Pope. And yes, my mom was Creole, just like his great-grandmother was Creole. So maybe we're cousins. I'd like to think so. But what I do know is we're brothers. Yes. Every single one of you are my brother and my sister, because we have this faith and trust in what God is going to do in our lives. And even though our belief sometimes is difficult. When it comes right down to it, my faith, your faith, will get you through it. And that's why every morning we ask, Lord, what are we going to do today? Now, the first weekend in June, I will be in Dallas, Texas for the the Diocese of Dallas, in a retreat for fathers and sons. If you'd like to join us, contact the Diocese of Dallas. God bless.